All right, hey, what's going on, everyone? Sam here with Lake Pro Tackle. Guys, we've got a little holiday gift buying guide for y'all. We're gonna talk about bait casting reels. In this episode, we've got 3 different tiers from 100 to 150, 200 to 250, and 300 to 350 range. I've picked 2 different reels that are my favorite reels in each of these categories. We're gonna talk about their strengths, kind of how they work, and definitely why you should get them, because here at Lake Pro Tackle, you know, we've got a lot of tackle. We bring in a lot of tackle that we believe in, our Lake Pros believe in, and stuff that we would use every single day, not just stuff that we want to sell that might look cool. You know, we do have some of that stuff. We've got a bunch of new glide baits, big swim baits coming in, got some wake baits, so definitely want to check those out. But some of the nichier stuff, as well as the stuff that performs day in and day out. So we're going to talk about these 3 tiers of bait casters. We're going to start it off at the lower tier here from the 100 to 150 range. First off, we're going to talk about the Lew's KVD LFS. This guy right here has Kevin Van Dam's name behind it. If you don't know who he is, you're living under a rock. Kevin Van Dam, all-time money winner right now in the sport of bass fishing. He has won so much money cranking, and this guy right here is made for Kevin Van Dam. It can throw anything from a 1.0 crankbait all the way up to, I would say, around a 6XD. The spool on this isn't extremely deep, but it is amazing for moving baits. It can cast extremely far. It comes in 3 different gear ratios. This guy right here is the 8-speed gear ratio, and I absolutely love throwing this reel. It is very smooth. I will say the one downside to it, I think you get this a lot with a lot of the lower, less expensive reels, is that the braking system, when you get up to skipping and pitching, you really want something up in that 200 to 250 range. The Lew's pitch and skip reel is amazing for that. This one is great for open casting, even casting into wind. It's really good. You've got adjustment dials on the side of this reel on the side plate from 1 to 10, so minimum to maximum, very similar to a lot of their other style reels. You've got a clicking tension knob here, so you can make fine adjustments on the fly, as well as a clicking drag star. It's got foam handles, which are very comfortable, not unlike their paddles, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't like their paddles on a lot of their reels, but this guy here, this paddle is a foam paddle. It feels very comfortable in the hand. This guy is an absolute beast of a reel. Starting it off at number 1. Number 2. This is one of the reels I put in a lot of my high school kids' hands as a great starting bait caster reel. This guy is the Daiwa Tatula 100, and don't get it confused with the Daiwa 100 CT. This 100 here is very small, compact, and can throw just about anything you want. You're gonna hear me talk about this T-wing system in another reel that we're gonna talk about a little later. The T-wing system in the Daiwa allows you to throw a wide variety of baits, whether it be braided line or fluorocarbon. That T-wing system, it opens up and allows that line to travel less of a distance through your guides. So when you open it up, that T-wing opens, and whether you start on the right side of the spool or the left side of the spool, that line is gonna track its way through and make a very smooth cast. One of the great things I really like about this reel is its ability and feel of the reel for throwing bottom contact baits like shaky heads or Texas rigs, as well as throwing medium diving crankbaits, which do put off, you know, a little resistance when you reel them in, like chatterbaits and stuff like that. This reel can definitely handle it. A shaky head on this reel, a 1/4 ounce shaky head, you can definitely throw that extremely far, and it's got a great reel feel. I'm gonna talk about that as well in some other reels. The reel feel on this, when you get a bite, you feel it all the way through the reel. Another benefit to this reel is the paddles on it. I really love the Daiwa paddles. They're a little narrower than the Shimano paddles, a little bit longer as well. So this Daiwa 100 Tatula 100 is a solid choice, especially at that 150 price range. All right, so next up, we're gonna talk about the 200 to 250 price ranges here. One reel that I've heard a lot of great things about, and one thing that I want to show you is the 13 Fishing Concept C2. So this is generation 2 of the Concept C by 13 Fishing. I will say it has foam handles. Don't let that discourage you though. I really do like these foam handles. They're very comfortable. They are very similar to the Lew's ones. So you look at the difference here. The Lew's one is a little more rounded. 13 Fishing one has a little bit of an angle at the end of it. That's about the only difference. They're both very comfortable. palms very well in my hand. It's a little bit longer. If we take a little deep dive into another reel, we'll compare them in just a second. It's a little bit longer reel like this, but it is very narrow. And I think one of the best things about this reel is the casting distance that you can get out of it. You can throw almost anything you want. So it has a very deep spool as well as a very narrow spool. So casting this, like we were talking about with that T-wing system, how that line doesn't have to go back and forth really far. With that narrower spool, it's more of a straight shot. There's not a lot of resistance on the reel, and it's a very solid reel. This reel is really light as well. Don't know the exact weight, but it comes in at 3 different gear ratios, and it feels really, really good in the hand. Now the reel feel, where you can feel a bite through it, it's a little bit less than something like that Dial or Shimano. However, just that casting distance, great for moving baits. You definitely want to try this one out here. It's got a clicking tension knob as well as a clicking drag star, so awesome. And inside you've got the spool brake. So if you open it up on the bottom plate here with the side plate, it's actually held on, so you're not going to lose that side plate. So you've also got, like I said, the spool brakes inside there. Doesn't have the adjustments on the side like the Shimano Daiwas or anything like that. You just have the tension knob and the spool. Next up, this is by far one of my all-time favorite reels. You're gonna have to check this one out because this is the Shimano Corrado 150 MGL. They have Shimano Corrado K, which is a 200 size. They also have a Corrado 70 MGL, which is a 70 size spool. However, this guy right here, it's a great middle ground. It's a workhorse reel. The Corrados have been known to be workhorse reels, do a ton of different things. You don't have to worry about maintaining them super hard, as well as just the robustness and the amount of things you can throw on this MGL spool. You can throw really small crankbaits, you can throw Texas rigs, you can punch with this one, throw braid, top water, just about any application with this reel here. So if you're looking for my top pick on the best overall reel for under $200, this guy right here would be it. I've got a couple of these in my arsenal in the boat just because of how versatile they are. I've got one with 10-pound line, I've got one with 40-pound braid, I've got one with 17-pound line. They can do it all. So you want to check this one out. The paddles on this, very, very comfortable. You know, Shimano's standard is having these good paddles on them. Next up, micro module gearing, guys. Can't go wrong with micro module gearing. The smaller gears, the smaller space between those gears allows for exceptionally smooth reeling. It's almost like pushing nothing when you turn the handle and you don't hear the annoying you know, the noise that a lot of reels can create. So other than that, it's got a clicking drag star, no clicking tension knob, but it does allow you to make very fine adjustments, as well as the braking dial on the side here goes from 1 to 6, and you also have stuff on the spool. You can adjust the little pins here to get maximum casting distance out of it, as well as some other settings as well. So you definitely want to check this Corrado 150 MGL out. I would say it is my top reel in any of these for overall casting performance. Next up, we're gonna go to the $300 to $350 range, and actually both these reels are in the $350 price point. First up, this guy right here is my newest addition to my arsenal. This is the Daiwa Zillion. This guy is absolutely amazing. Comes in a 100 size spool, has brass gears in it, so very, very heavy duty spool. I think the one downside, I don't talk a lot about the downsides, or I haven't talked a lot about the downsides in most of these reels because they're really robust and they can do it all. I will say the one thing that I found with the Zillion that isn't as good as I would have hoped is the braided line casting on it. I prefer fluoro on this reel. The braided line just felt weird casting it. It may have just been me, may have been some old braid. I reused my braid and put it on there. But I will say the one thing that I didn't like was how it casted braid. Now fluoro, I can throw my fluoro. I threw a 1/2 ounce rattle trap near 75 yards, easy, just whoosh, like that. Just a flick of the wrist and it was gone. Now, the Zillion has hyperdrive technology in it, packed full of a whole lot of cool stuff. I know you probably don't want to hear me ramble on and geek out about all the cool stuff in these, but it's got the T-wing system, allows again for very, very easy casts. Paddles, again, very, very great. And the gearing, I mean, can't even hear it. It's virtually not even there. Turning the handle as well. I've had my Zillion for almost a year now, and it is still just as smooth as the day I got it. So a lot of my Shimanos, I do regularly maintenance them to dial it. I haven't had to do that. I've got no issue with it. I mean, there's literally nothing I can feel in the gears that would make me even think that anything is messing up on it. All right, so the last reel we're gonna talk about is the Shimano Bantam. This guy right here just came out of Baitcast this last year, brings a whole lot of new technology to the Shimano lineups, and I'm wondering what they're gonna do with the new technology, like the micro module, not micro module, the MGL3 spool. The MGL3 spool is super, super light. You can cast very light lures on it to flipping very, very heavy cover with it. Now, I will say you can find all these reels here in the description right below. Head over to our website. These are going to be great Christmas gifts, guys. So the Infinity drive on it makes it feel like you're not even turning the handle. Like, it is that smooth, that robust, and this one-piece Hagane body allows it to be very, very robust. So you can do a lot of things with this. I just want to mention before we run out of time here is that the handles on it, very, very good. A little bit thicker, I would say, than something like the Corrado. This reel does come in at 7.8 ounces, a little bit heavier than something like the Corrado DC. But this guy feels, the real feel in it, you're going to feel those bites, especially on something like a G Loomis rod, Daiwa rod. Guys, check out the Kage line that we have here. We'll talk about all those other rods here in another video, but I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Make sure to leave a like. Hit the notification bell for updates on when we post next. Follow us on social media, and thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.